This is Matt Hurt at Obsessive Viewer on Twitter.
This is Tiny at Obsessive Tiny on Twitter.
And this is ObsessiveViewer.com's The Obsessive Viewer Podcast. Hello and welcome to The Obsessive Viewer. We're a weekly movie and TV podcast that covers a specific topic, be it genre, trope, movie, or show, each episode. You can find back episodes at ovpodcast.com, find the blog at obsessiveviewer.com, and you can like us on Facebook and join the Facebook group at facebook.com/theobsessiveviewer. And this week on the podcast, we are being sponsored by Horror Movie Yearbook from the Midwest Podcast Network. Horror Movie Yearbook is a great podcast where they take a single year and boil it down to 3 different horror movies that were released in that year, and then they discuss them and contextualize them within the current events and pop culture of the year in discussion. And in between each discussion, they have little fun interludes and little games that they play in between each segment. So it's a lot of fun. It's a really great podcast. Go check them out. Follow them on Twitter at HM Yearbook and go check them out at horrormovieyearbook.com. And thank you to Horror Movie Yearbook and the Midwest Podcast Network for sponsoring this week's episode. So, Tiny, how's it going?
Wonderful.
Nice. That's great.
Yep, just had race weekend, man. It's like,
yeah.
I think I've decided that I like race day more than Christmas now.
Really?
I think that's my favorite day of the year.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, for those who don't know, we live in Speedway. Technically, I live like right outside of Speedway. It's an Indianapolis address, but it's Speedway. It's adjacent.
Yeah.
So anyway, Speedway, Indiana, it's home to the Indianapolis 500. So basically, from my perspective, one weekend a year or 1 month a year, traffic is really ungodly and I need to plan around it. Tiny, on the other hand, is a huge fan of the whole race culture. He's a racist, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It is the greatest spectacle in all of sports, Matt.
Sure.
240 miles an hour, 2.5-mile track.
I just don't get why you would go to watch it because, like, yeah, that's really fast and that's really cool, but it's really, like, open, like, the heat is, like, ridiculous. The sun is on you, and, like, you just see blurs. Like, yeah.
It is the highest attended sporting event in the world year-round.
And it boggles my mind.
Yeah. There's 400,000 people there to watch the pinnacle of human engineering.
And yeah, I totally
pinnacle of human engineering. Maybe there'd be like, rocket ships and stuff.
Sure.
But,
yeah.
Pinnacle
of sporting engineering.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. It's amazing. Takuma Sato won.
Yeah, congratulations.
I downed 2 cases of Yingling.
You did?
I did myself.
Wow. Jeez.
That wasn't even all of it that I drank the whole weekend.
I had some grape punch that I sat in my apartment and watched The Office and pretended that it was wine.
Nice. So yeah, it was just this is my fiance and I bought a house in Speedway, so we got to host some people that came and parked at our house and walked to the track with us, and I've always wanted to do that. We had a bonfire the night before. It just got to take in the whole weekend. It was awesome. I loved it.
Nice.
Yeah. Barely slept.
Wow.
But it was awesome.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed a 3-day weekend where I just watched what I'm going to bring up for Potpourri. And, yeah. So, yeah, fun times in Speedway. Tiny, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about movie pets.
Movie pets. Pets in movies.
Pets in movies.
Yeah, this is to commemorate the fact that we're both proud pet owners. Some would say they rescued us.
Oh my God. I would not say that.
I wouldn't either. But nothing against people who say that, but it's just
something against people who say that. I'm kidding. Have your fun.
Anyway. God. No, so yeah, I have the cutest little cat in the world named Pizza Roll. She is a little short-haired tabby who I adopted in December of 2015. And Tiny just recently got a little shit. So, sorry.
He is a little shit sometimes.
Yeah.
Because he won't shit.
Oh, really?
In places other than the house.
Oh, gotcha.
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about him a little?
Little Gizmo. Yeah. We rescued him from Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
From the Obama state.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know what.
I don't know why I said that.
Okay.
Anyways, so yeah, we got him from Illinois, and he's really cute, nice, and
he
fun.
is adorable. Mm-hmm.
He's very fun.
Yes, and we'll talk more about our pets later, guys.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun episode.
Mm-hmm.
But to commemorate Tiny and Paige's new child that they got, their dog. How old is he, by the way?
About 18 months.
18 months, yeah.
Little boy.
It's interesting to note, not interesting for anyone, but neither one of us were able to name our pets.
Yeah, we could have changed his name, but
yeah,
he's a year and a half already. So
yeah, and I could have changed her name too, but I mean, when you have a cat named Pizza Roll, you do not change that name.
That is such a cool name.
Yeah. And plus and I've said this before on the podcast, I'm sure, but my original plan was to go to that adoption event and adopt a boy cat and name him Church after the cat in Pet Cemetery.
Oh.
Which shows how screwed up I am.
Yeah. Not as fun as Pizza Roll.
Not as fun as Pizza Roll. And I'm so glad that like Pizza was the only cat that was left. And, well, she was the last cat. But then there was a second to last cat, essentially. There was another cat that his name was Ghost. And, I mean, I'm sure he ended up getting adopted. But, man, Pizza was so cuter.
Yeah.
So cuter.
I'm a big fan of naming two things. Either naming animals after food or naming animals with old man names.
Yes.
Like I've always wanted to name a dog like George.
Nice.
Or like Oliver.
Nice. Hank.
Yeah.
That'd be a great dog name.
A girl my fiance went to college with has a bulldog named Wilbur.
That's awesome.
Perfect name.
Nice.
Perfect. I think it'd be fun to name a cat Waffle or something.
That would be.
Just something goofy.
Yeah.
Burger.
Right.
I just think that's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because a little addendum to that story. It ended up being that day, December 12th, 2015, that I went to adopt a cat with the intention of adopting a cat and naming it Church after Pet Cemetery. Happened to be the 1-year anniversary to the day of when I finished reading Pet Cemetery for the first time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That could have been awesome.
That could have been very awesome. But no, I just had to get a little shit named Pizza Roll. Just kidding. I love you, kitty. Hi.
She's eyeballing you.
She is. And I was thinking about this today, and then we'll get on to the actual topic before we lose any viewers. But like, if I ever like get into a relationship, or if I ever have to live with someone like in the future, they're seriously going to have to be okay with me talking to and for my cat, like constantly. Like it is, it's gonna be a stumbling block for me and Jennifer.
Yeah,
Lawrence. But yeah, no, it's it'll be interesting, and it's not even like my normal voice. I just talk to her in like a baby voice. So yeah, that's more about me than anyone else needs to know. So pets and movies, we have kind of a central list that we're going to go kind of run through, and then we're going to talk about the Facebook group poll where we asked people for their favorite pet movies, and we got some good discussion going on in there. So we'll go through that after we go through our list, and then we'll round it out with Potpourri. And then finally, at the end of this episode, guys, the big question, the big announcement. We're going to announce the official mascot of the Obsessive Viewer podcast. Now that both hosts have pets, it's been a bloodbath, really. Friendships have been destroyed.
Yeah.
Tiny and I aren't even recording in the same room. We can't even look at each other. So yeah, someone threw a brick through the window and then threw a plate in after that with just a bunch of burnt pizza rolls on it. So it's
the brick said all paws matter.
Yeah. Jesus.
Underline all.
Right. Oh. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah. So it's been a tumultuous time for the Obsessive Viewer podcast, and so we're gonna go right into discussing some of our favorite pets and movies and movie movies that are pet centric, essentially.
Right.
Yeah. So Tiny, do you want to kick us off with the first couple ones here?
I'd be happy to.
Okay, great.
The first one that came to mind for me was the German Shepherd from the movie I Am Legend. Will Smith's dog named Sam, played by the actor. The dog is named Kona.
Okay.
Yeah, not much trivia for Kona.
Right.
All it says is canine actor. Yeah, it actually says that.
Wow.
So it came to mind because the dog was one of my favorite parts of that movie, and I like that movie quite a bit. But I just love the fact that the character that Will Smith talks to the most throughout the whole movie is the dog.
Right.
And he has like a super close relation. It's his only form of companionship is the dog. And I think that's what makes it really special. And I remember reading that Will Smith tried like really hard to adopt the dog after the movie.
Oh yeah.
But they were just like, sorry, she's like a trained dog, and like it's someone else. Like you can't just take her or whatever. So, it's extra special that he like really like fell in love with the dog and wanted to adopt it and everything. So that chemistry totally came across in the movie.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just cool that it was on such incredible display. And
It's
like,
been
really good performance for a dog. I mean,
Yeah.
when I think about like the logistics of trying to get a dog to like act, it just sounds horrible to me because they don't speak English.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I was just impressed that like they're able to pull that off in movies, and
yeah. And that's kind of a running thing that can be throughout this whole episode, is that it's really impressive to get, an animal to perform, to get a performance out of an animal. It's kind of an amazing feat. And like you said, dogs and animals, they can't speak English.
Right.
Which is something that I keep telling ever since I got pizza, I always tell my sister, who has two little boys, I say like, okay, well, having a cat is so much harder than raising a kid, because like if the cat plays with her food, I mean, I can't tell her why she shouldn't play with her food. So, yeah. I'm not invited to Christmas that often, or to holidays anymore, but yeah. So that's a good one. I need to watch I Am Legend again. Eventually I'm going to cover it in Anthology as a bonus review, because, oh my God, Richard Matheson. Why did I blank on his name? So eventually I'll get to rewatching it, but I agree. I really enjoyed that dog performance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another one that came to mind was the dog White Fang from the movie White Fang, which is a movie that I have not seen in like decades. But I loved that movie when I was a kid.
Nice.
I think it's kind of the movie that made me want a dog so bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The dog White Fang is played by the dog Jed, who was famous not just for White Fang. He was also in one of my favorite movies of all time, maybe one of my favorite top 3-5 horror movies of all time.
Oh, should I guess?
Yes.
Okay. Rob Zombie's Halloween?
No.
Let me get one more guess. Am I close?
You're kind of close in a roundabout way.
Okay. The original Halloween?
Even closer.
Oh my God. The original Halloween? No, Oh my God. Why did I not think of this? I knew, like, oh my God. Yeah. That's perfect sense. The Thing.
The Thing, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
One of my favorite horror movies of all time.
Nice.
Yeah, wow. I think the virus in The Thing originally implants itself in the dog. I think that's how it starts.
Something like that. It's been so long since I've seen it.
I think the first thing it attacks, well, in that part of the story, is the dog.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's the dog. And it was Jed, the dog from White Fang.
Nice.
He is a Malamute wolf mix, so he actually has some wolf in him.
Okay. Good that minority actors are getting.
Yes. Nice.
Stupid.
But yeah, White Fang is based on a book by Jack London, apparently. I'm not familiar with that. But it's about a gold hunter in the Yukon part of Alaska, who like kind of comes across this guy who is mistreating this dog, and he basically like tells the guy to stop, and he basically adopts the dog. So he kind of saves the dog's life, and then later on in the movie, the dog kind of helps save his life.
Okay.
And he has like a super close relationship with the dog, and it's it has some wolf in it, and so it's a bit wild. But he befriends it anyways, despite its instincts. It's a really good movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. I'm wondering how well it holds up.
Yeah.
I'm worried that it might not. But like I said, I think it's the movie that made me want to get a dog. So
nice. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen it, and I've never read the novel, but yeah, that's something that I will have to check out.
Yeah, I need to watch it again.
Yep. Yeah. So I'll bring up the next one. This is a movie that I haven't watched in over a decade, possibly even decades. So it's 1993's Free Willy.
Yeah.
Starring, of course, Kiko, the orca whale,
right?
Who sadly and tragically died in 2003 of pneumonia.
Oh.
It's sad. Oh wow, that's sweet. Huh. He's buried at Taknes in Hausa County, Norway. His grave sits right next to the ocean.
Oh.
Yeah, that's sweet. So anyway, Free Willy was a movie that it's kind of one of those like early movie memories for me. It's also worth mentioning that Kiko was uncredited in the movie, so I'm sure he took a pay cut. I'm sure. So anyway, yeah, so it's been a long time since I've seen this movie, so I can't talk with very much confidence of it, but this is one of the first movies that I remember seeing, or this is one of the first times I remember the first examples of kind of a phenomenon movie. Like, this movie was kind of a huge hit, and it was like very much like parodied, and it was really kind of a sensation. At least my perspective of it was.
Right.
For all I know, it could have been a bomb. I haven't looked into that, but like the IMDb rating is 5.9. But this is one of the movies that I remember. One of the first movies I remember being very pervasive within my kind of like my view of pop culture of the time. Of course, like soon after that was, or maybe that same summer, maybe it was Jurassic Park. So that could also have contributed to that, both, animal movies.
Right.
But yeah, Free Willy was a movie that, its gross was $77 million, on a budget of $20 million. So
it was successful. They made like 2 sequels.
Yeah. Did you ever see the sequels? And did you see Free Willy?
Oh God, yes, I loved Free Willy.
Nice.
It was a cultural phenomenon.
Nice. Do you want to talk about it?
Much like you, it's been, I think, decades since I've seen the movie. I think it's truly a children's movie.
Right.
Michael Madsen is in this movie.
I saw that.
I do not remember that at all. So
nice.
I just pictured him looking at the whale and being like, "Are you going to squeak all day, little fishy, or are you going to bite?"
Oh, that's awesome!
Which is ridiculous.
That is so awesome.
Oh God, I'm done.
Oh God. And you never saw the.
I don't
sequels?
think so. If I did, I don't remember them at all.
Okay, I remember seeing the first sequel, Free Willy to the Adventure Home, which, let's see. Okay, that's right. Yeah, because that was the whole thing about it. This IMDb rating is 4.9, so obviously it didn't live up to the original. But the plot is Jesse becomes reunited with Willy 3 years after the whales jump to freedom as the teenager tries to rescue the killer the killer whale and other orcas from an oil spill. Oh. So very timely.
Yeah.
But I remember there being a scene kind of at the climax of the movie. Spoilers for Free Willy 2, The Adventure Home. But the oil gets like caught on fire, like, and so there's like fire on the ocean. And I remember thinking, like, that was the first time I've ever seen like something like that in a movie, like the ocean on fire.
Right.
And I think they had to replicate, like, I think they had to have him jump over it for some reason. I might be misremembering it, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I might try to hunt and seek that out.
Yeah.
I probably won't though. Directed by the same director of Halloween 4.
Oh.
The Return of Michael Myers.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's Free Willy. I don't really have much else to say about it, except that it lives on in our memories.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Let's see. Do you want to bring up the next one?
Yes.
Okay.
The perennial classic Beethoven.
Yes.
Which also had a handful of sequels, if I remember correctly.
It did, yeah. I have a small anecdote about one of the sequels.
Oh, of course you do.
I do, yeah.
But, God, this movie's so dumb. I, again, haven't seen it in probably decades.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, for whatever reason, we watched the crap out of this when I was a kid. And I bet my dad hated us because we rewatched this crap all the time. Nice. It's got to be at least okay because Charles Grodin's in it, and he's a classic. He's a legend. Yeah. And I don't even know why I liked this movie so much.
Sure.
I think at the time when my brother and I liked it so much, we didn't have a dog and we wanted a dog really bad, and so we just liked movies with dogs in it, basically. Sure. I mean, that's all there was to it, pretty much. The dog or the pet in question, the star of the movie, was played by Chris, a Saint Bernard. Was he in anything else? Let's see. He has an IMDb page. What was Chris in? Both Beethoven movies. That's it. So. The bigger dogs don't last as long. Right. They have shorter lifespans, so he probably couldn't have been in a lot. R.I.P. This movie features a childhood Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Does it really? Apparently. He's student number 1. Wow. Yeah. He's come a long way. Like in this movie, a little more. Stanley Tucci's in this movie. Is he really? Yeah, David Duchovny. Wow. Yeah. Crazy cast. Oh, yeah. Huh. But yeah, I honestly don't even remember like the plot and like what the hell happens. I really don't even remember. I just remember loving this movie as a kid. Yeah. What I remember from it and what I remember from it about, or what I remember about it, about the plot is that it was, maybe this is just me not paying attention as a kid, but I was under the impression that it was only about like, this dog wreaking havoc on a family. But apparently, according to the plot summary, it's also involves a dog napping veterinarian and his henchman. But there is one of the sequels. There's a couple of sequels. One of them I remember seeing the preview for, the trailer for it on TV, I'm sure. And then I remember there being a scene... And I'm 99% sure this is a Beethoven movie. It could be another movie entirely, but there was a scene in the trailer where Beethoven like destroys a yacht party or something. Okay. And like he jumps on the yacht and like everyone screams and I think the boat sinks. Something like that. And I remember seeing it in the theater with a friend. I don't know if my mom took us or if his mom took us or what happened, but we went and saw it in the theater, and I remember like knowing that scene was about to come up, and like I like dragged my friend to the front of the theater, and we sat in the front row for it because I thought like, that would be more intense to like see it. Right. And it was wildly underwhelming. Yeah. Oh boy. Yep. So that's my anecdote about Beethoven. Gotcha. So yeah, it was a classic. I think there's a part in the movie where they have to feel the dog's poop to know how long it's been since the dog pooped. Okay. Like they take the vet steals the dog, the villainous vet. Sure. Hashtag alliteration. Steals the dog, and then like they're running after it, and like they get they lag behind, but then they find the poop, and they're like, "Well, feel it and see how long ago it was, so we know how far away we are from the dog." Which, when I think about it now, is a preposterous notion,
right?
But at the time, made perfect sense.
Sure.
So I'm glad we talked so much about dog shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you ever wonder if dogs know how much we talk about their bowel movements?
I don't. Now I do.
Because every single time one of us takes a dog for a walk, we're like, "Did he poop? Did he go poop? Was he a good boy? Did he go poop?"
That's a good question.
Like, that's a very odd phenomenon.
Yeah.
That we talk about animals' bowel movements so much.
That is a lot.
Like, if aliens ever invade, they're going to be like, they talk about this oddly unsophisticated animal's bowel movements quite a bit. Humans are weird.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to bring that up real quick.
Oh yeah. They'll see me and just be like, huh, that human's animal. I almost said that animal shits in a box, but I didn't want them to think that it was me that shits in the box. But anyway, yeah, I always imagine when I'm using the bathroom that Pizza's like, is that a litter box? Anyway, I am actually going to throw an audible here.
Okay.
And add a movie. We don't necessarily need to talk about it too much, but I just wanted to bring it up because I have a very, very soft spot for this movie. Bingo from Bingo. Did you ever see that movie?
I did. I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, this was a movie that I freaking loved as a kid. Everything about it. Like, this was a movie I watched, like, incessantly. Mm-hmm. The plot description, for those who don't know, also the IMDb rating is 4.7. Bingo, 1991. A runaway circus dog befriends a young boy who has trouble fitting in with his friends. And a big part of that the plot description doesn't really go into detail about is that the kid's family moves away. And the kid, or I'm sorry, the dog, he goes cross country to reunite with the family, and it is so ridiculous. Like, the dog, it was kind of like where this was before I had my first dog. So this was like, I think, to your point, Tiny, about, was it White Fang that made you want to get a dog?
Yeah.
Bingo was the movie that made me want to get a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. This little doggy was, it's such a ridiculous storyline. He's using his nose to go, find the family. And then, at one point he kind of passes out, and like a vet or someone, picks him up, and like they take him into like the OR for an emergency like nose transplant.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and then there's like he goes. Oh, I don't remember the context, but somehow he ends up in a prison as an inmate's dog.
Oh my god!
And like he facilitates an escape. It's such a weird, preposterous movie, but it is so fun.
I remember liking it as a kid, but I cannot remember any of the specifics.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was great. I don't even see. Oh, that's a shame. I don't see him. I don't see Bingo credited in the credits. So I can't tell you what dog it was, or the dog's name or anything.
Yeah, I just saw that. That's weird.
Yeah. But yeah, Bingo, man, just one of my favorites
Nice.
as a kid.
Nice.
Yeah. And do you want to bring up the next one?
Yeah. How to Train Your Dragon, mm-hmm. which I think was a super cute movie, mm-hmm. and like I think what I love so much about the dragon in that movie, I'm trying to remember what the dragon's name was.
Toothless.
Thank you. I think the coolest thing about it is that how emotive they made the dragon. Like, it was so...
Yes.
Because the dragon doesn't talk. Mm-hmm. It's not one of those movies where the animals can talk.
Right.
But just the body language and, like, the expression from the dragon, they had, like, conversations between each other.
Yes.
And it was just so cool, and, like, mm-hmm. it was like a boy and his dog thing, mm-hmm. but it was a dragon, and it was this cute little dragon. It was that was the coolest part to me, was the relationship and the way how much personality they gave to an animated dragon was really impressive. And that was the biggest appeal of the movie to me. And just, it's just a nice coming of age tale as well. It's a really good movie, and I just love what they achieved with an animated dragon. It was surprisingly good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Same here. I echo all those sentiments, because that movie is like, it's kind of like, it's a little, I mean, it gets me in the feels. Like it's really, really powerful.
Yeah.
Specifically because it plays on like that owner and pet dynamic, and it plays it so well because, as you said, the emoting of Toothless is just it's incredible. And there's just so much nuance to that movie and to those characters and that relationship, that it's really powerful. Did you ever see How to Train Your Dragon 2?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't remember it if I did.
Okay. Which I'm stupid. Whenever I see How to Train Your Dragon 2, I always want to say How to Train Your Dragon also. Stupid. Anyway, I kind of fell asleep during it, so I can't really speak too much about it, but it kind of goes into some dark places. And it's pretty good from what I remember.
Nice.
And then let's see. So that is How to Train Your Dragon. Should we move on to the next one?
Yes.
All right. Do you want me to bring this one up?
Sure.
Okay. So Tiny shockingly hasn't seen this movie.
I haven't.
No, it's Cujo. Everyone's favorite pet in a movie. No, Cujo, based on the Stephen King novel, of course. It is, the movie itself, I recently saw it like within the last year. The movie is pretty well done as far as a horror movie is concerned. It's kind of refreshing to go back and see it because it's from 1983. It's refreshing to go back and see it because like it's not like an animatronic dog or anything. Like they had a huge ass Saint Bernard, and they got a really good performance out of him. And Dee Wallace is actually amazing as the mother. In the movie, which the movie is just, most of it is contained to a car, with her and, Tad.
It was a Pinto, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, because it's broken down and there's Cujo all littered with rabies. And Cujo is not credited. So obviously they used multiple dogs.
Right.
But, yeah, this movie is pretty well done. As far as a Stephen King work, like the book it's not really my favorite Stephen King. It's kind of famous that King wrote it kind of when he was at the height of like his substance abuse problems and alcohol issues. So he actually famously has said that he doesn't remember writing it. And you can it kind of doesn't connect together as well as his, as some of his other works, but I will still say, and I won't spoil it or anything, but I will still say that I vastly prefer the ending in the book to the ending in the movie. Because the way that book ends is just really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Yeah, and the movie does the movie justice despite the ending, and really, really exemplifies how terrifying that situation would be.
Gotcha.
Yep. Okay, and then we're kind of starting to wind down here, but the next movie is probably the one that, like, this is the one that I thought of when we decided to do pet movies. It is Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey, which is, it's bigger than Bingo for me as a movie, as a kid that I watched ad nauseum. I watched it much more than I did Bingo. This came out in 1993, so it is about 1 year before I got my first dog. Of course, the plot description is 3 pets escape from a California ranch to find their owners in San Francisco. I credit this movie with my absurd tendency to anthropomorphize pets. Like I don't know how to phrase this without sounding like an insane person. Like, I'll talk to my cat and I'll imagine that she, responds. It's not anything too weird.
Keep telling yourself that.
Well, but of course, this movie featured the voice of Michael J. Fox as Chance, the kind of fun-loving puppy, Sally Field as Sassy, the cat with an attitude, and then Don Amish, I can't remember how to pronounce his name, did the voice of Shadow, the kind of older dog. And, of course, those animals, I'll go ahead and credit them. Shadow was played by Ben. He is an actor known for Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey. I'm sure he's dead now.
Yeah.
And then Chance was played by Rattler. Yeah. He was a bulldog. Yeah, interesting. Oh my God. The bio for Rattler, the dog who played Chance, Rattler was an animal actor. He was an American bulldog. He is famous for playing the role of Chance in Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey. Although in the film, Chance is a young, exuberant American bulldog, while in the novel, his name is Luith, and he is a Labrador Retriever. He has since died. Like,
no shit.
Seriously?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, and then finally, Sassy is played by Tiki, a little kitty.
Yeah,
but yeah, I haven't seen this movie in several years, several years. But I remember loving it. I remember there are moments in this movie that are kind of like seared into my mind. It's funny because both Bingo and Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey both involve animals searching for their family. That's kind of a weird connection, but like there's a moment at the end where one of the dogs gets one of the animals is in grave danger. I'll say that. That kind of really always hit me in a very very emotional place. And then I think this movie is what kind of made me really ingrained in my brain, wow, is that the right phrasing? Really put in my brain the idea that cats hate water. And then also there's a scene with Chance as a fun-loving puppy dog, sort of a young, exuberant American bulldog, investigating a porcupine.
Right.
To very, very disastrous results. So it's amazing. I love this freaking movie. I own it. Tiny, you talk about it.
I don't remember very much. I just remember the part where Chance is describing how much he loves food that's been rolled around in the dirt.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's silly. He's a dog. I remember liking that line as a kid, though. That's my main memory from this movie. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Nice.
Yeah. But I did love it.
Yeah.
Part of the whole dog thing as a kid. I loved it.
Oh, yeah. I own both it and the sequel. It proudly adorns my DVD collection. The sequel, okay, first of all, the sequel is Homeward Bound 2, Lost in San Francisco. Came out like 3 years later. I wasn't too crazy about it. I haven't seen it really anytime recently, but it was directed by David R. Ellis, who, oh, that's a bummer. He died in 2013. Huh. Well, that's sad. But he is kind of peculiar because he directed 7 movies. And 1, 2...
That is peculiar.
4 of those 7 movies I own.
Oh.
And it's kind of weird because he directed Homeward Bound 2, Lost in San Francisco. That was his directorial debut. He directed Final Destination 2, the Chris Evans, Jason Statham, Nicole Kidman thriller Cellular. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. He also directed the amazing Snakes on a Plane.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so it's weird that somehow he is in my DVD collection several times. He also directed Asylum, which wasn't good, from 2008. Directed The Final Destination, which I hated, and Shark Night 3D, which I never saw. So anyway, that's Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey. The sequel, sure. But yeah, I love both. I love this movie. Should we move on?
Yes.
Okay.
Up next, I was going to talk about Squirrel. It's the movie Up from 2009. The dog is Doug, and obviously it's animated, so there's no actual dog credited for the role. The voice, quote unquote, of Doug was actor Bob Peterson, who also voiced Alpha in the movie.
Oh yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he is one of the Pixar directors.
Oh really?
Yeah. Let me check. I want to say that he directed something, or maybe he's
a writer.
Oh, he was a co-director of Up. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
He was also the voice of Mr. Ray in Finding Nemo.
Yes, I see that here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think the Up was super popular, and I think part of it was the dog. I think that's the whole squirrel thing has turned into a pop culture phenomenon a bit.
Yeah,
you see it all the time. It's pretty funny. Mm-hmm. Yep. No, I haven't watched Up in quite a few years. But I remember the dog. God, that's just, it was so funny. I think the breed of the dog is supposed to be like a golden retriever.
I think so too.
It looks like a golden retriever.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just the squirrel thing is just classic and so wonderfully representative of what you would think a dog's personality is.
Really?
You know what I mean? It's so clever.
Mm-hmm.
So clever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Squirrel. There's another line that the dog says.
I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head.
I know.
I can't remember the first part, but it's I hid under something because I love you.
Because I love you. Yeah. He says it really silly. Yeah.
Oh God, that's one of my favorite Pixar characters.
Yes, just so clever.
Yeah.
And adorable. So
great. And yeah, that is the epitome of kind of the dog personality. It's a dog personified.
Yes.
And it's really well done. Because I haven't seen Up in a little while as well, but I kind of wish that they, maybe not wish. This is maybe not a wish or anything, but it's something that I'm kind of surprised that this didn't happen. But and maybe this could be due to the fact that Doug kind of shows up kind of not necessarily late in the movie, but he's, it takes a while for the character to be introduced. It's after they get to their place and they need help. But I'm kind of surprised that it didn't get the Mater treatment. Doug, I would have thought would have made, and granted, obviously Up isn't a sequel. It's not one of the movies that Pixar made a sequel of or anything, but I kind of thought that maybe Doug would be more merchandisable or have more, have little short films the way that Mater has his whole little thing with kids. Kids freaking love Mater. Right. So I'm kind of bummed that Doug didn't get his due, but yeah, it's such a great character, and it's great to see the other side of it, because it's a lot of pet movies and a lot of pets in movies. It kind of shows the kind of unconditional love that a pet has for the human, but also just the love that a human has for a pet. And with Doug, it's it's just it's actually personifying that unconditional love that a dog has. It's just really on really on the nose. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and let's see. I will round us out for this topic. Tiny, you're kind of falling asleep a little bit.
I am so tired.
All right, so this next one will be pretty quick, and then we'll get to our poll results and all that. Assorted cats and dogs in the movie from 2001 titled Cats and Dogs.
That title is just brilliant.
It is, and we were talking before recording, and Tiny, did you decide that you had seen this movie or hadn't?
I decided that I hadn't. And if I have, shame on it, because I don't remember it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So, kind of a peek behind the curtain. Let's see. Tiny and I used to work together as security guards.
Yep.
I don't know if I should say this, but we would have downtime.
Yes.
In the middle of the night when we worked nights, so we would kind of watch a movie here and there.
Hell yeah.
And I'm shocked that I did not force you to watch this freaking movie, because Cats and Dogs is freaking amazing. Yeah. The plot description is a look at the top secret high-tech espionage war going on between cats and dogs, which their human owners are blissfully unaware of.
How did you get through that without laughing?
Because it is a freaking brilliant concept. It is so great. And what I love about it is that it's kind of this fish out of water story where the main dog is a beagle. I'm trying to find the name. I can't remember the name of the dog, but he's voiced by Lou the Beagle. He's voiced by Tobey Maguire, who has a perfect innocent kid voice, which is kind of what Lou the Beagle is, and he is he's kind of brought into the secret society of a secret war going on between cats and dogs. Dogs are the good guys, and the cats are the evil ones.
Very fitting.
Well, at the time that I saw this, yes, I thought that may be the case. But since I've come over to the cat side, cats are amazing and they own us, and they're gonna, they're our overlords.
They're still good in you. I feel it.
Yes. Really, only a Sith deals in absolutes, though. So both goods. But Lou's mentor into it is voiced by Alec Baldwin. And then the the villain of it is a cat named Mr. Tinkles, who is voiced by Sean Hayes. And it's just such a fun movie. It's so much fun. I can't overstate it. It is currently available on Netflix, and I think after Tiny leaves, I seriously think I'm going to throw it on and watch it, because it is it is so great. I love it.
You're ridiculous.
Yeah. And I would go so far as to say that it is a travesty that the IMDb rating is 5.1 and the Metacritic score is 47. But hey, it's a great movie. I highly recommend everyone go see it or watch it. Wow. Oh, God. It won a Razzie Award for Worst Supporting Actor.
Shocker.
Charlton Heston.
Oh, my gosh.
Ugh. Travesty. But yeah, great movie, Cats and Dogs on Netflix, and that does it for our topic this week. We did put a poll into the Facebook group, which again, you guys can find at facebook.com/theobsessiveviewer. There's a link to the Facebook group right at the top, so you can join us there, and we can, we'll throw in some fun polls. You can interact with us on a very personal level. I don't know what really that's supposed to mean, but yeah, so we posted the question. I said, tomorrow night, Tiny and I will be discussing our favorite pets in movies. What is your favorite pet-centric movie /pet in a movie? And discuss is in the comments. I was really tired when I posted that, so I didn't recognize that I had a major typo there. So the winner of the poll, this I did not expect. Tiny, do you want me to go ahead and announce the winner of the poll?
Sure.
The Gimp from Pulp Fiction. So didn't really see that didn't really see that going the way that I thought it would. But thank you, Fecus, for suggesting that.
Pretty brilliant, really.
Yeah. Which he said, so I think my favorite is going to have to be the Gimp from Pulp Fiction. That pet is hilarious. Then he said, here, I'll fix the poll for you. And then your brother, Alex, replied with, thanks, Robert. I agree completely. And I meant to respond and put like, well, sounds like I got a Halloween costume idea for pizza. But I thought that would be a little bit messed up.
Yeah.
Second was Lady and the Tramp.
Okay.
And then third was Homeward Bound.
Nice.
And then, do you want to go through the list? Do you have it up?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay. So anyway, some of the comments. First of all, Tony was the first one to comment and said, not the pet poll I'm looking for, # team pizza roll, which we'll talk about after the potpourri section. Our friend Justin said, Frankenweenie is best, Air Bud is trash. Which I can't, like, Air Bud is a franchise that I thought at one time that I would watch all of them. Like, way back when I first started the Obsessive Viewer blog, like, I had this whole idea that I was going to watch every Air Bud movie in the entire franchise and review each one. But obviously that never happened, thank God.
Darn.
Yeah. And then Tony Troxel said that, he said, I voted for 2. Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey was just fun and funny when I was a kid. I've caught bits and pieces of it every now and again and still find it amusing. Lilo and Stitch was also a lot of fun, though I did work the Disney store during a lot of promotion for it. So whenever I hear Hawaiian roller coaster ride, I get a bit twitchy. Still, while not a favorite Disney flick, it's still very solid, which I think speaks a lot to the quality of it, that he can still enjoy it after being subjected to promotions for it at all times when he worked at the Disney store. Yeah. Have you ever seen Lilo and Stitch?
No.
Okay, me
never
neither.
Seen it.
Yeah, that should go on the list. And then finally, Matt and Draco, Patreon subscriber and friend of the show and friend of the hosts even. I consider him a friend. We only talk on Facebook and everything, but I'm comfortable saying that he's a friend of mine.
You'll meet him at the wedding?
I will. Yeah. He actually said, how do you phrase it? He said that he is afraid that when we meet at the wedding, he said, oh yeah, we had another conversation. He said, from how Tiny talks, I'm convinced we may be the same person, or at least very similar. I fear when we meet for the wedding, it'll be like stepbrothers. Did we just become best friends? Then I said, I agree completely. Either that or it will rip a hole in the time-space continuum. I think I reversed that, space-time continuum.
Yeah.
Thus ending the universe. And then he did not respond for several days.
Oh, no.
So, yeah. Anyway. So he said, I added Nibbler from Futurama. I wanted to add Seymour Asses, but that is the only cartoon episode of anything that has ever made me cry uncontrollably like a child. He's referring to Jurassic Bark from Futurama, which I've seen that episode once, and man, it's such a great episode. It's powerful and beautiful. It's just really, really touching and sad. If you're a dog lover, go watch Jurassic Park and weep uncontrollably. So I think that's going to do it for our main topic.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and run into some potpourri if you want.
Yeah.
You want to? All right. So for first-time listeners, potpourri is the section of the podcast where we talk about whatever we want, stuff we've watched lately, things that have come up in our lives and everything. You know, anything we want as long as it smells good. That's kind of the tagline. And Tiny, we both have 2 things. And I'll go first. And this will probably be pretty brief because I'll bring it up later because I'll bring it up on a later episode. But I watched all of season 2 of Bloodline, the Netflix original series. Yeah. You saw season 1, right?
I watched season 1 and liked it a lot.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. And I only just now got around to watching season 2 just because I'm lazy, and also season 3 premiered a couple weeks ago. So I wanted to get caught up and watch season 3 because season 3 is the last season of the show. So season 2 of the show, it's really hard to bring a it's really hard to succeed a successful season, to have an episode come out, or a season follow up a terrific season of television with an equally great season. And Bloodline season 2 isn't season 1 level of greatness. It's a really solid story. It's a really solid season of television. It deals with a lot of the fallout from what happened in season 1. And if you saw season 1, kind of the ending really left a lot open for them to go in season 2, and they really ran with that. They introduced some really interesting new characters. John Leguizamo is a recurring character recurring actor in the episode, or in the season. He's like he's kind of a loose cannon, hothead kind of guy who had dealings with Ben Mendelsohn's character in the past. And it's a really solid season. The way that it ends, first of all, there's an incredible scene, or an incredible sequence of scenes between Kyle Chandler and Enrico. I can't remember his name. I have it here. Hang on one second. Tiny, please stay awake. Enrico. Okay. Enrico Murciano. It's in season 8, or episode 8 of the season. There is, like, throughout most of the episode is it intercuts between the subplots and everything, and then scenes between Kyle Chandler and Enrico Murciano. And those scenes are, like, really powerful, like, incredibly well acted scenes, and it's really great. And then the way that the season wraps up, just like, I never really do this, but when I finish the season, I like to kind of take a breather before going on to the next season. I watched the first episode of season 3 immediately after finishing season 2. Wow. It was like, I just couldn't do it. And then it was funny because the first episode of season 3, like, I kept thinking, like, this is basically the exact same type of plot as a certain episode of Arrested Development. Just it's a drama instead of a comedy. That kind of made me kind of laugh a little bit. But anyway, Bloodline season 2, I'll talk more about it when I finish the series, when I finish season 3. Seasons 2 and 3 are only 10 episodes each, so it's a quick watch. The pacing is still a little slow, but it's a slow burn kind of show, so that's kind of to be expected. So yeah, that's on Netflix. It's Bloodline season 2. And Tiny, you watched a movie.
I did. I've actually I had a pretty good May. I watched like 17 movies.
Nice.
And then to recover from race weekend, I watched like 4 movies on Memorial Day. Mm-hmm. One of them that I watched was Victor Frankenstein. Which I immediately regretted. It is not good. It has a 6.0 on IMDb, which I think is pretty generous. I think the only reason I wanted to see it is because I unabashedly adore Daniel Radcliffe, because he is a delightful person and a terrific actor. And James McAvoy is one of my favorite actors right now. He's amazing. So I was like, well, the two of them together, I have to see this movie, even though I thought it looked really dumb.
Sure.
And I feel like the Frankenstein story has been told a handful of times in movie form, and have never been especially impressed with any of them, with the exception of Young Frankenstein, which is a brilliant movie. Yeah. That is a brilliant movie. It's hysterical. But just a lot of the other tellings of it, I was not a fan of. I've never read the book, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Should probably do that at some point. But so yeah, the movie it really is not that good. I think what it had going for it is that it's told from the perspective of Igor as opposed to the Doctor. So that was cool. The movie was just like too polished. Like it's like Dr. Frankenstein is like a mad scientist, and he's crazy. It's like it's a really dark story, you know. It's about bringing things to life when you shouldn't bring things to life. Like it's very philosophical in that respect, and the movie didn't have that. It wasn't dark that way. not to say that it didn't have aspects of darkness, if you will, or very somber, morose things. It did have that, but it just had this weird gloss over it, and I don't know. I almost think like Daniel Radcliffe and James McAvoy are both too good-looking of men to be, and too just posh, good-looking men to be playing these roles.
Sure.
I don't know though. James McAvoy in Split was pretty down in the dirt there. So I don't know. Obviously, there was something missing from the movie. It really needed a lot of work. I think James McAvoy and Daniel Radcliffe were fine. They did a decent job. Jessica Brown Findlay played the female lead, and she just had nothing to work with.
Really?
She had like 20 lines in the whole movie, and it's just like she was like the most textbook, just female love interest character, boring, vacuous character you could ever imagine. I was like, they didn't even try.
Jeez.
Which is a shame because she's a great actress. She was really good on Downton Abbey. So that was a shame. And another notable actor was Andrew Scott, who is a very good British actor. He's what's his name on Sherlock?
What's
the big Sherlock villain? What's Sherlock Holmes's villain? Why can't I not think of his damn name?
Yeah. Why can't I think of his damn name?
I could just click on his name.
I know this.
Moriarty.
Moriarty, damn it.
Moriarty on Sherlock. Amongst many other really good roles for Andrew Scott. I think his character was the most well-rounded in this movie. He plays the detective who's investigating. It's set in London, which is another thing.
Okay.
Victor Frankenstein, for whatever reason. I guess because they hired British actors. I don't know.
Sure.
So it was a bit of a messy movie, but I liked Andrew Scott in it. I think he was a cool, like, ultra conservative religious detective inspector.
Okay.
So I kind of enjoyed him a little bit, but overall, just a really dumb movie. And I don't know what it is about the Frankenstein story that it's never been adapted really well, at least not in my book. The movie's never been adapted really well. I don't know what it is about it, but maybe it's just unadaptable, or it's too hard to capture cinematically, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. I really should read the book at some point.
Yeah, and you seem to be strangely a big fan of the story. From my perspective,
I'm a big fan of Mad Scientists.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like the movie Altered States.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Love that movie because I think that's one of the best Mad Scientists ever. William Hurt in that movie.
Yeah,
I just think it's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
You also had I, Frankenstein as your worst movie of 2014.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so bad.
Yeah, and
that was worse than this.
Yeah,
I'll say that. But
okay.
This was still pretty bad.
And it's funny because you also referenced Aaron Eckhart's hotness in the movie.
Yeah, he's way too hot to play a Frankenstein's monster.
Right.
There are no hot monsters in the movie Victor Frankenstein, so at least there's that.
Nice. All right, great. And how did you watch it?
Was this HBO Go?
Okay.
Yeah, 3 out of the 4 movies I watched on Memorial Day were on HBO Go because I didn't feel like paying money to rent movies.
Nice. Yeah. I have some Google Play credits that I need to cash in to rent a movie. I might do that this weekend.
Gotcha.
Yeah. My next one will be brief. So I kind of stumbled into a rewatch of The Office. Basically what happened was, one day I was over at a friend's house and we watched the entire first season and started season 2. This was probably 2 months ago. And then I kind of, like, when editing the podcast or doing stuff in the background, I just, threw on season 2, which I still think is one of the greatest seasons of sitcom television I've ever seen. Just such a great season of TV. But, and so I watched it, and now I'm all the way into season 7. And it's become a full-fledged rewatch. And the thing that I want to bring up, a couple things really. One is that there are a couple like theories that I have or perspectives of something in the show. So there's a scene after, I guess, spoilers for The Office, But there's a scene in season 5 or 6. It's in the episode Lecture Circuit. So at this time, Pam is engaged. It's season 5. Pam is engaged to Jim, and she and Michael are traveling to other branches to do like motivational speeches for sales techniques and stuff. So they go to I'm blanking on which Ithaca, where Karen, Jim's former girlfriend, played by Rashida Jones, is the manager of. So Pam is super freaked out because she basically stole Jim from her. And then when they get there, they realize, or they notice very clearly that Karen is pregnant. And so it's clear like she's moved on and everything. And it's kind of a big relief for Pam. But the thing that kind of bothers me but I every time I see this, I can't help but think that there's something kind of maybe not sad, but kind of sad and depressing about it. In that when they're in Karen's office and they're talking about, she being pregnant, and Michael says something to the effect of who's the guy or something like that. And then she said, "It's my husband." And she talks about how, like, she has a throwaway line where she tells Pam that, I think Pam says congratulations, and she says, "Yeah, it's just happened really so fast and everything." And then they ask about the husband, and the husband's name is like Bob or something very, very, like it's a 3-letter name, Bob. And they show a picture on her desk, and it's like this very tall, thin guy who really resembles John Krasinski. Mm-hmm. And Karen mentions that they met at a bar, and they have a picture of them being goofy in Halloween costumes, and that's basically the extent of that scene. But it's really, I don't know. I don't know if this is the intention, or maybe I'm just so cynical. But I kind of got the impression that they're, like, what the writers were going for was that Karen just had like a rebound with a guy who reminded her of Jim, and then now she's pregnant and married to him, and it's just like they didn't like have like the Jim Pam romance or anything. It was just like hey, that guy kind of looks like Jim. Let me rebound with him, and then now I don't know. Do you remember this? Did that ever cross your mind?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. So I'm not crazy. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you guys are familiar with it, let me know what you think, cuz I don't know, it's kind of just, I don't know, cuz the whole show is kind of like this positive kind of thing to an extent, sort of. At least the Jim Pam storyline is so positive and everything that it feels like it's incongruous with the tone of the show. Then again, they shot it to hell later in the series because they built up Andy and Aaron so much and then just completely ruined Andy's character. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Mm-hmm. My other thing, Tiny, is I have a theory about Jim and Pam's baby. And this is kind of dark.
Oh, boy.
Yes. So in the episode where Pam goes into labor, they have, and I'm going to get off of my soapbox soon, I promise, guys. There's a whole sequence where Cece Halpert, the little baby, where Pam is having trouble breastfeeding. And so they bring in the lactation consultant, who is actually played by Jenna Fisher's real-life husband, Lee Kirk, and he helps, get the baby to latch on. And this makes Jim very uncomfortable. And then after that, Jim and Pam, who are exhausted, fall asleep in the bed, and the baby is right next to them. They wake up because the baby's fussing. Also, their room is being shared by another couple whose baby is breastfeeding with no issues. So half asleep, they grab the baby, try to breastfeed. Breastfeed's fine, great. They end up falling asleep with the baby in the bed, and then when Pam's friend comes over to visit them, they realize they had gotten the wrong baby, and that's why she was so easy to breastfeed. And it's very awkward and everything. So my theory, because at the end of the episode, Pam breastfeeds Cece outside of the hospital room with no outside of the hospital with no problems, and it's a big triumphant moment. They're going to be great parents and everything. My theory, Tiny, is that Jim secretly switched the babies. Because Jim bought a house for them without telling Pam, which that, as much as I love the Jim and Pam story, that's such a bizarre thing to do. And he is willing to do anything to make Pam happy.
Yes.
So, she's having doubts about being a parent. Cece won't breastfeed. There's this attractive guy, objectively attractive guy coming in and, feeling her up to get her to breastfeed. Jim feels threatened by that. Switch the babies. That's my theory. And another theory is that maybe Pam switched the babies because in the first part of that episode, she is super crazy and she's acting very irrational about having the baby. So that's my theory, that Cece Halpert is a victim of baby napping.
Jam forever.
Yeah, jam forever in prison. Yeah. Anyway, round us out for Potpourri.
It's quite a theory.
It is
quite a theory, sir.
If you guys want to corroborate this or discuss it, tweet me or email. Because I think that it's worthy of a full email. Matt@obsessiveviewer.com. Okay, round us out for Potpourri before I keep making this weird.
I watched Logan finally.
Yes.
After a long time of hearing people talk about it and how great it was and everything, I finally watched it. This is the one movie I watched on Memorial Day that I actually paid for.
Nice.
I paid for HBO, so
yeah,
screw that.
Sure.
It was really good. I really liked it. There were people who talked about it like it's the best X-Men movie ever. And it's amazing, and I'm not sure it's my favorite X-Men. I'm not sure if it's the best X-Men movie. I think it's really good. I think it's the best that we've seen Logan, the character of Wolverine. I was so enamored by his character in this movie. How gruff and damaged he was, and he's dealing with his mortality. Accepting his mortality throughout the movie, which is really impressive, and was fascinating to watch. This is the ninth time he's played Wolverine, right?
Off the top of my head, I believe so.
8th or 9th.
Yeah.
And all the other times we saw him, he acts and does things as a quasi-immortal, indestructible character who can heal himself. He gets shot in the head like 3 times in the franchise. I mean, it's crazy. But he's dealing with weakness essentially in this movie, and it's just it's really fascinating to watch. And I just love Hugh Jackman, and he just is Wolverine. He just has embodied Wolverine for almost 2 decades now.
Yeah.
And so wonderful.
Over half of our life.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's amazing.
It really is. And it was rated R.
Yes.
God, that's the best part of the movie.
Yeah. Because
Wolverine, I don't know if I said this on the podcast before, but I know I've had the conversation before that Wolverine is really violent.
Yeah.
He's a super violent character, and he's a dick. Yeah. He's a dick in the comics, and like he's a rated R character. And almost every time that we have seen Wolverine on the big screen or even on TV and stuff, it has been a dulled down character in that regard. And I understand the need for that, and I'm not being critical of the other creative people who portrayed him in those adaptations,
sure, or
wrote him, whatever. I'm not being critical. I'm just saying that they got down to the bare bones of Wolverine in this movie, and I ate up every second of the violence and the bad language, and the everything from this movie. I'm not one who's necessarily a huge fan of gratuitous violence, or like I'm not like super excited about a movie just because it's super violent or because it's rated R necessarily, but Wolverine has needed to be rated R for several years now.
He really has.
And to finally see that come to fruition was just glorious. I think this was a pretty cool storyline. I feel like kind of the thread, I don't want to be spoilery here, but the thread, the kind of the main plot, if you will, was a little bit formulaic. The whole stuff with the kids and everything,
Sure.
a little bit of a rehash, but I feel like the meat of the story was Wolverine dealing with, with his mortality essentially, and his relationship with Charles Xavier, and trying to care for him. That was the meat of the story for me, and that was one of the best parts of the movie. The best part of the movie for me, though, was Daphne Keane.
So amazing.
Freaking badass.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, as soon as I saw her, I was like, sequel, let's see it.
Right.
Jennifer Lawrence can play her. I don't know, that wouldn't make any sense, but
right.
Somebody awesome. She was... Daphne Keane and this is her first movie.
Yeah,
introducing Daphne Keane in the opening credits, and man, she kicked all kinds of ass, both as an actress and physically. That was awesome.
Yeah,
but she spoke English and Spanish, all the martial arts and the stunts, and just freaking keeping up with Hugh Jackman.
Oh yeah,
she kind of stole a little bit of this movie.
Totally agree.
Kind of stole the limelight away for a movie called Logan.
Right.
A guy playing him for the 9th and final time. It's such a big deal. And she managed to just shine so brightly. She was awesome. And I really liked the movie. A bit of another example of kind of weak villain. Kind of a weak villain movie.
Yeah.
I liked Boyd Holbrook playing Pierce. I kind of liked him, actually. But I feel like he was a little... impotent, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word. He was just kind of a not very actiony villain. But I appreciated his attitude and his performance. What he did with the character, I think, was kind of cool. So, yeah, I liked Logan a lot. I think some of the opinions I heard played it up a little bit.
Sure.
Again, some people said it's like one of the best X-Men movies ever, and I was like, I don't know about that, but I think just for the character of Wolverine, I think they put a magnificent button on that character. Bookended the character very well there. I enjoyed that quite a bit. So it was a good movie.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. I talked about in an earlier episode. One of my favorite anecdotes about that movie is that I went with a friend and we got some drinks before. Brought the drinks into the theater because it was at one of the AMCs that has their little bar in it. I had to pee so bad the entire movie. And I am not one to get up and go to the bathroom during a movie. I'm in it till the end.
Right.
And I'm sure I probably developed some kind of medical disorder or something because I held it in the whole time. But I would it was so bad that I was considering walking out to go to the bathroom, but I didn't. So
damn,
that's more than anyone needs to know about my bladder. But anyway, so that's great. Yeah, I loved Logan, and I'm glad you liked it. We'll have to talk a little bit more about it off mic for spoilery reasons. So now we're gonna kind of wrap this up with the results of the poll.
Yes,
which now that Tiny has a pet, a little doggy. And I have a kitty. We need one of them to be the official mascot of the Obsessive Viewer. Pizza's not declawed, so if we were to make them fight, I'm sure that, she would kick Gizmo's punk ass. But we would never do that, obviously, unless the listeners want us to.
No.
But no. So I had posted on the Facebook group, and you cheated, and you shared it on your personal Facebook.
No, you cheated by only posting it to the obsessive viewer page because the world couldn't vote, just certain people. That's not fair.
I'm not following your logic there.
I mean, you weren't allowing certain people to vote. I believe that's called voter suppression, and it is illegal under the United States Constitution.
It was allowing the listeners of the podcast to vote.
Yeah.
Anyway, by posting that onto the Facebook, onto your Facebook, actually, we actually got like 3 new group ads. Anyway,
nice.
Yeah. So I'll go through some of the responses.
So you're welcome. Nice job, Gizmo.
So I will go ahead and talk about the Facebook group posts, which are the only ones that count. And I will say first, I'll preface this by saying that what I did was I posted two pictures. Both were a collection of 4 pictures each, so they were like photo grid. Collages. 4 pictures of Gizmo, 4 pictures of my pizza roll, which I refer to her as my pizza roll because my nephew, when I first got her, couldn't pronounce pizza roll, so he always says pizza roll. So anyway, now he can because he's older, but from now on, she's always pizza roll. Anyway, I put, okay, guys, it's time. Who do you think should be the official mascot of the Obsessive Viewer podcast? Tiny's new dog Gizmo or my adorable cat Pizza Roll? Comment below. So, I did of the 4 pictures of pizza. One of them was me and her with the words "Thug Life" above it, because we're thugs,
hardcore.
Yeah, and then another one was her laying down on the carpet with clip art that I added of a badge, a gun, and a hat that says police. And I said Officer Pizza Roll, and then I put to protect and serve.
Pandering.
Well,
mudslinging.
I was proud of it. Anyway, to which my coworker John and friend John, he told me today, he stopped me today and was like, I think we need to have a conversation about the amount of time that you spend adding images to your cat's pictures.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, not enough, right? But yeah, anyway, so the responses came in. Friend of the show, Matt Quiet, said, why is this a question? Pizza roll is the only answer that matters. Okay, and then first of all, a couple people did mistake pizza's gender and said he, but I'll edit as it is, which is, it's fine, innocent mistake. She's here to make Obsessive Viewer great again. A vote for pizza rolls, a vote for watching lots of movies obsessively, which I completely agree. And I did make sure that I responded to every vote for pizza with a picture of pizza. So yeah. And then, let's see. A friend of the show, Alex, and coworker of mine, said pizza. Sorry, Tiny. And then, of course, friend of the show, Tony Troxel, said hashtag Team Pizza Roll because my vote goes for the one who shits in a box and doesn't have shit in its name. Because Gizmo's a Shih Tzu. Listener Kim said pizza roll, no contest. Listener Monica said pizza roll in all caps with exclamation points. She's fucking adorable. And then, let's see. Those are all the votes for pizza roll. Yeah, those are all the ones for pizza roll because Mr. Robert Feckus, frequent guest on the podcast, friend of the show, friend of the co-hosts, I went to Comic-Con with him. I've been to Vegas with him. And I felt so betrayed because he said, without a doubt, Gizmo, his name
Attaboy.
Is even movie related.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But again, to reiterate, neither one of us named our pets. So, and I did, this isn't necessarily movie related yet, but I suggested that Tiny rename Gizmo Roland Deshane of Gilead.
Right. We could have renamed him, we just didn't.
Yeah, 18 months is a long time.
Yeah.
And then we had someone say, obviously I'm going with my little boy Gizmo, he's adorbs, friendly and hypoallergenic, only kitty cat. Tiny said, obviously I'm going with my little boy Gizmo, he's adorbs, friendly and hypoallergenic, unlike a certain kitty cat. And yeah, I don't like that.
It's a fact.
And then your brother chimed in and said, "Cats are the worst. Gizmo all the way." And then friend of the show Matt Quiet said, "Sounds like nepotism to me." To which Alex said, "No, my last name could be Hurt or anything else, and I would still stand by my statement." So yeah. And then your fiance Tiny, which I think this vote, since she is your fiance, this is a biased opinion. So yeah. I mean, just throwing that out there. She said, "I may be partial, but Gizmo all the way. Dogs over cats any day." And that is a really cute picture of Gizmo.
Yeah, he's adorable.
He's laying on this old dog bed on his back. Does he let you rub the belly?
Oh, he's all about the belly rubs.
Really?
We had the belly rubs out in the car on the way back from Illinois.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't mean that to sound like a creepy guy who's bragging about nailing a chick. That's not what that was.
Oh, we had the belly rubs. Yeah, Pizza is not a fan of belly rubs. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's because she doesn't like the sensation of having a hand rubbing her belly, or because every time that she is like laying on her back or exposing her belly, I say in a very creepy tone, I say, "I'm gonna wub that belly," over and over again as I creepily walk toward her to rub her belly.
I can't believe you're telling the public all this.
I know.
It's going to be on the internet forever.
It is. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna wub that belly.
Oh, boy.
And then she doesn't let me. She bites me and kind of attacks my hand a little bit. But it's adorable.
Gizmo's never bitten me.
Well, give it time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's worth mentioning, too. I have not met Gizmo, so...
Yeah,
I mean,
loss.
You know... maybe my vote will change.
Yeah.
It won't. Pizza all the way. And then you had some responses on your personal Facebook. Do you want to run through some of them, or?
Well, apparently they don't count.
No, they don't at all.
So no, we'll just leave them out.
Okay. So one of your friends, I won't name names or anything, but she said, I meant to respond to it. Her comment was, and also, it's not fair. Like, this is on your Facebook post. Everyone voted for Gizmo. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think a couple of people voted for my little pizza woe. Let's see. Team Gizmo. My friend Molly just put an emoji of a pizza. And then our friend Pam said, "Gotta admit, I'm very partial to pizza roll. I've Facebook known her longer." Another gender thing. She actually has donated to the podcast, so thank you.
Yes.
Yep. And yeah, but your friend, I'll just say the first name, Lisa, said, "And sorry, Kitty, but the Giz needs no adornment to make him cute."
Yeah, you don't see me dressing up the pictures.
That was like shots fired.
Yeah.
Okay, because I had posted this adorable picture of pizza where she has like a little hat and some sunglasses, and she's just relaxing. She's just being her cute little self. and yeah, so I was like, okay, person I don't know, but you know,
it's my future mother-in-law.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, just wait till that wedding. I'm going to bring a binder with me.
Oh, my God.
And when you introduce me to her, I'm just going to show her all of the pictures that I have. I'm going to go through the trouble of printing every single one of them, putting them in a binder, all 3,000 of the pictures that I have of pizza, and I'm going to educate your future mother-in-law.
You know, we're having an open bar, so I'm not doubting anything.
That's right. It is an open bar.
It is.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm never going to be invited to anywhere by you again. Anyway, yeah, so the votes are in. Tiny's private Facebook post does not constitute votes, so I'm going to go ahead and say it because I kind of control everything on the podcast as far as like editing and stuff. Pizza Roll Hurt Lawrence is the official mascot still of the Obsessive Viewer podcast.
Fake news. The Russians hacked the polling. We all know it.
With an honorable mention. Okay, Tiny. Honorable mention.
The Vice
mascot is Neville, Chamberlain, Longbottom, Fecus. Fecus's dog, Neville. And then Gizmo can, be, I don't know,
hurts.
The press secretary or something.
That hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Neville's like Nader at best.
Sure. I guess. But Neville's the only one that has a name that's specifically named after something in pop culture. So
Gizmo, man, from Gremlins.
But the people who named Gizmo, did they name him Gizmo specifically because of
the Markwise? The Markwise were like designed after Shih Tzus.
Oh, okay.
Like they were inspired by Shih Tzus, bro.
Were they really?
Yeah.
Huh.
You can look. I mean, it's kind of creepy how much they look like Shih Tzus. Actually,
that's true. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, what is the best snack to have when watching a movie? It's pizza rolls. Like
they're pretty bad for you.
You go to a movie theater, you say, "Hey, I'll take a large soda and a big bucket of pizza rolls," and you have your movie snack.
What a crock of shit soup. No, Pete, that's fine. Fairly won. Mm-hmm. You can expect my concession phone call later.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And she's really, like, look at her. She's just so pretty. She's just in there licking her little paw.
We never agreed on how many electoral votes you need to win this election, but it's neither here nor there.
It's all,
Direct democracy is a lie. Okay.
Jesus. Yeah, is there anything else we need to go over?
I don't think so.
All right. Are you going to be okay to drive home?
Gizmo 2020.
Sure. I get that. Sure.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm fine.
Okay, good. You live like literally 2 minutes away.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Next week on the podcast, I think. Next week on the podcast, we're going to be reviewing Wonder Woman. Which I'm really excited. I'm so stupid excited to post the link on Twitter and everything, because I'm just gonna spoil it here. When I post the blog post, the obsessiveviewer.com post, that has all the information for the link or for the episode, it's just so dumb. I'm so excited because all that the tweet and Facebook posts are going to say is just, anyway, here's our Wonder Woman review. Like the whole, anyway, here's Wonderwall.
Wow. Wait, what? Here's Wonderwall.
Oh yeah, there's a whole like meme thing where people are like, anyway, here's Wonderwall.
I'm not familiar with that meme.
Yeah, it's because Wonderwall is like one of the, it's like the easiest song. Like it's a great like starter song to learn on the guitar.
Really? Okay.
So like people are like, oh yeah, I can play guitar, and then they just go into Wonderwall, and it's kind of a big thing. So there's like there's a meme. I don't remember I don't know how it originated or anything, but basically it's just like anytime Wonderwall comes up and I see it online, I just see people say like, anyway, here's Wonderwall.
Nice.
So anyway.
Thank you for listening to The Obsessive Viewer, presented by ObsessiveViewer.com. You can find more of our episodes at ovpodcast.com, and you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or anywhere else podcasts are found. If you'd like to support the show, the best and easiest way is to leave us a rating and a review on iTunes. More ratings and reviews means it'll be easier for people to find the show in the highly competitive film and TV podcast genre. It also provides us with valuable feedback on the show. If you'd like to donate to the podcast, you can make a one-time PayPal donation at obsessiveviewer.com/donate, or become a patron at patreon.com/obsessiveviewer for recurring donations with different reward tiers. Every donation goes toward paying the fees to keep the podcast running and is greatly appreciated. For official Obsessive Viewer merch, including shirts, mugs, notebooks, phone cases, and more, visit our TeePublic store. You can also buy other great TeePublic designs in our store, and we'll get a small commission on the sale. You can find a link to the store in the show notes of this episode and at obsessiveviewer.com/donate. The Obsessive Viewer's theme song is An Eclipse of Events and is provided by Loudlike from their EP, Mistakes We Must Make. You can find that and more great music from them on iTunes. and like their Facebook page at facebook.com/loudlikemusic. Any and all feedback on the podcast is encouraged. We love to hear from you guys. You can contact us by emailing podcast@obsessiveviewer.com or by tweeting us at obsessiveviewer, at obsessivetiny, and at IamMikeWhite. You can also like us on Facebook and join the Facebook group at facebook.com/theobsessiveviewer, where you can take part in discussions and polls between episodes. For more podcast content, check out Anthology, Matt's solo podcast, where he's reviewing The Twilight Zone as a first-time viewer and exploring other classic and contemporary science fiction anthology TV shows. You can find Anthology at anthologypod.com and anywhere podcasts are found. For book lovers, you can check out our sister site at obsessivebooknerd.com for book reviews, author spotlights, and a general celebration of reading. Finally, if you're philosophically curious, check out Tiny's side project podcast, The Secular Perspective, which explores the concepts of faith, religion, and existence from the perspective of secular hosts Chad and Amanda. You can find that at thesecularperspective.com and subscribe to the podcast on the app of your choice. Once again, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.